Hey y'all, welcome back to Bass Lessons HQ. We're doing the third tutorial, the final part of the tutorial series for Bass of the Hills. And this actually covers a section that I didn't play in the demo short that started this whole thing. And that's the solo. When I do this as a solo piece for performances or with a drummer, which is really cool, when you do the bridge and come back to the B section, instead of going right back to the A section, drop a solo in. And at the end of the solo, loop back, pick up the bridge in the B section, and then take it out from there, including the tags and all of that. So the reason I didn't put a solo in there is because it's different every time, and I didn't want to include it as a part of the song for students to learn. And remember, this is where this all started, with somebody asking me to teach them this. I thought it'd be better to just talk about how I use that D Mixolydian scale, mostly on 2 strings, sometimes on 3. I'll go ahead and I'll steal that D string for just a second for a note or two. Remember, we're working with the D Mixolydian scale, and that's simply a D major scale with a dominant or flatted 7th. Instead of a C sharp, it's going to be a natural C. So it's going to be, which we're all used to, right? Now, you've got to learn the scale up and down the fretboard. And, you know, this is something Joe Sanchez talked about in his lesson about how to learn any scale. Was one of your things is to learn the scale on a single string. And then when you go beyond that, what you can look at are double stops of either the root and the 3rd, or the 3rd and the 5th, or the root and the 5th, sometimes the 3rd and the 7th, or the 5th and the 7th. But you've got to know the scale on 2 strings, on 2 adjacent strings, in order to do that. Okay? So if we go to the bridge part, and we look at that last piece again, it's not much of a stretch to get into a solo, right? Because all I did was continue to extend beyond where I had gone in the bridge. Now, another thing that I use a lot is something that Carol Kay talked about when she was talking about bebop soloing, that instead of linear 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, it was based on triads, 1, 3, 5, 7, 9 on up and down. And so some of what I do in my solo is based on that. I will steal the D string some, but not all that often, and when I do, it's for a very short time. So to riff on the lower part, the middle of the neck, something like up top. The Mixolydian scale, the major scale with a dominant 7, was a concept that I was working on back then in the late 90s. And Bass of the Hills came out of that exploration. And I hope that by showing you the building blocks I used, more than teaching an actual set of riffs, whatever, will encourage you to do what I did and explore this scale and see what you can find for yourself, okay? Until next time, have fun with that. Ask me questions or leave me other comments below. I want to know what you think. And if I didn't explain something well enough, I'd like another shot at it if you don't mind. Until then, I'm Lane on bass, and y'all keep thumping. Peace.